When you do this shift, the narcissist will come running. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, trying to understand their behavior and wondering what exactly triggers them to come running back? You may have noticed that they seem to only return when certain conditions align, or perhaps you've been curious about the mysterious dynamics of narcissistic relationships. In this video, we're going to explore one powerful shift you can make that will inevitably get the narcissist to come running. It might sound counterintuitive, and it's certainly not a quick fix, but when you understand this key concept, you will be empowered to take back control of the situation, regardless of how manipulative or elusive the narcissist may seem. Stick with me as we break down this fascinating concept and how it can impact your relationship with a narcissist. Before we dive into this powerful shift, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who might be struggling with narcissistic relationships. This is the place where we explore real solutions, psychological insights, and strategies for reclaiming your power. Let's get into the shift that will make the narcissist come running. The shift I'm referring to isn't about trying to change the narcissist in any way. It's not about attempting to win them over, fix them, or make them see the error of their ways. It's about transforming your own mindset, altering your approach to the relationship, and re-establishing your boundaries in such a way that disrupts the power dynamic between you and the narcissist. Narcissists thrive on control and need a constant stream of validation, admiration, and attention in order to feel secure in their grandiose self-image. Their entire existence is centered around this need for external affirmation. But the moment you stop giving them the control they so desperately crave, everything starts to change. They may not show it outwardly, but the narcissist will feel a shift, and that is when they will begin to take notice. Once their constant source of validation is no longer available to them, they will feel the loss of power, and that's when they'll come running back. It's not about them suddenly realizing their feelings for you, but rather them seeking to reclaim the control they once had. The first thing you must understand is that narcissists are driven entirely by their ego. This is the foundation of their personality. Every part of their identity is constructed around the need to feel superior, to feel that they are better than others, and that they are deserving of admiration and praise. Their ego is their lifeblood, and maintaining this grandiose self-image is their number one priority. They cannot function properly unless they are seen as exceptional in some way, and they require a constant stream of external validation to maintain this inflated sense of self-worth. This is why they are so dangerous to be around. When you stop feeding into their ego, when you stop giving them the attention, admiration, and validation they require to feel important, you begin to shake their sense of self. They may not immediately react to this shift, but deep down, their whole world is starting to crumble. They might try to mask it or pretend that they are unaffected, but internally they feel threatened, insecure, and uncertain. This feeling of vulnerability is foreign to them and unsettling, which is why it sets them into action. At this point, the narcissist will start to run after you, but not because they suddenly care about your feelings or well-being. They aren't running after you because they've had an epiphany about how important you are to them. They are running after you because you've become a challenge. They have lost their source of validation, and this loss of control over the dynamic creates a deep sense of discomfort for them. They are no longer in the driver's seat, and that's something they cannot tolerate. Their need to maintain their grandiose self-image and feel superior to others drives them to seek out situations and people that will reaffirm their sense of importance. Since you've stopped providing them with the emotional fuel they need, they will try to get it back, but their pursuit isn't about genuine connection. It's all about regaining control over you so they can continue feeding their ego. This is where the power of emotional detachment becomes crucial. When you shift from constantly seeking their approval to valuing yourself independently of their recognition, you alter the entire dynamic between the two of you. This is a mental and emotional shift that goes beyond merely pretending not to care. It's about genuinely stepping into your own sense of self-worth, your own sense of value, and truly releasing the need for external validation, especially from someone who is emotionally manipulative. You stop reacting to their emotional games, their subtle manipulations, and their attempts to draw you back into their web. You stop chasing after them or trying to prove your worth, and instead, you focus on yourself. This is not about indifference or pretending that you don't care. This is about no longer needing their approval to feel good about who you are. This internal shift changes everything. As we dive deeper into understanding this shift, it's crucial to talk about the importance of boundaries. Setting healthy and firm boundaries is not just a recommendation, but one of the most powerful and effective ways to disrupt the narcissist's control over you. Narcissists, by their very nature, will constantly test your boundaries. They do this through a variety of manipulative tactics, such as guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and creating emotional chaos. Their goal is to keep you in a state of confusion and insecurity, making you uncertain about where you stand. They want you emotionally drained, always on edge, and feeling like you're walking on eggshells. This constant emotional turbulence is how they maintain control. But when you start to establish clear, firm boundaries and commit to sticking to them, the dynamic begins to change. The narcissist will begin to realize that they can no longer manipulate you the way they did before. They will start to notice that their usual tactics are no longer working. The more you stand your ground, the more the narcissist will struggle to maintain their power over you. Narcissists thrive on control, and when they are confronted with someone who refuses to let them dictate the terms of the relationship, they feel threatened. They hate being told no, and they will react strongly when they can no longer have free rein over you. The moment you stop enabling their behavior and assert your boundaries, you begin to take away the emotional leverage they have used to manipulate you. This shift in your behavior will not only disrupt their sense of power, but it will also force them to reevaluate their tactics. Narcissists are used to getting what they want, and when you become a person who won't tolerate their behavior, they'll scramble to try to regain the control they once had. This disruption in the power dynamic is uncomfortable for them, and it's exactly what needs to happen in order to break free from their influence. Another key element of this shift is the process of reclaiming your energy. Narcissists, in many ways, are emotional vampires. They thrive on the energy you provide them, whether it's positive or negative. As long as they can keep you emotionally invested in them, whether through love, fear, guilt, or anger, they remain in control. Your emotional responses are the fuel that keeps their manipulative behaviors going. But when you stop giving them your energy, they begin to lose their power. This doesn't mean you have to completely disengage or emotionally shut down. It doesn't mean you have to become cold or distant. What it does mean is that you need to prioritize your own well-being and stop allowing them to drain your emotional reserves. By shifting your focus back to yourself and your needs, you begin to protect your emotional energy, and that's when you regain your power. When you start to reclaim your emotional balance, something important happens. The narcissist will feel the shift. They will notice that they can no longer provoke a reaction from you. The emotional supply they were once able to draw from you will no longer be available. They thrive on the highs and lows of your emotional responses, whether it's the high of receiving praise or the low of triggering your anger or fear. Once they realize that they can no longer access these emotional reactions from you, they will feel powerless. Without their usual supply of emotional fuel, they begin to struggle. The balance of power shifts, and the narcissist will come running, trying to reclaim the emotional supply they'd lost. They may try to provoke you, or manipulate you back into giving them the energy they so desperately need. But by this point, you will be stronger. You will have learned to protect your energy and stop feeding into their manipulative tactics. By establishing and maintaining strong boundaries and reclaiming your emotional energy, you begin to take control of the dynamic. You shift from being a source of emotional supply for the narcissist to becoming someone who values and protects their own emotional well-being. This shift, though initially difficult, is incredibly powerful. The more you protect yourself, the more you will notice the narcissist trying to regain the power they once had over you. But by then, you will have become more resilient. You will have broken free from the cycle of manipulation, and you will no longer be susceptible to their emotional games. The shift happens when you stop allowing them to control your emotions and your boundaries, and when you take back the power they tried to steal from you. That's when they will realize that their control over you is slipping, and they will scramble to try to get it back. The more you stay firm in your boundaries and protect your energy, the stronger you will become, and the less power they will have over you. Let's take a deeper look at the concept of emotional manipulation, a powerful tool that narcissists excel at using to their advantage. Narcissists have honed the ability to manipulate emotions, and they often do so with expert precision. They understand how to exploit your fears, insecurities, and vulnerabilities to keep you under their control. Their manipulative tactics can range from guilt-tripping, love-bombing, and playing the victim, to more subtle strategies like emotional withdrawal or using affection as a bargaining chip. These tactics are designed to make you feel obligated to them, to make you doubt yourself, and to make you feel responsible for their emotional state. They play on your natural empathy, and their goal is always to keep you emotionally invested in them. But when you finally stop falling for their emotional manipulation, you take away one of their most powerful tools of control. The moment you stop reacting to their emotional games, you shift the entire dynamic. It's not easy. This kind of change takes practice, patience, awareness, and an immense amount of emotional strength. The narcissist may try harder to hook you back in, but when you no longer allow them to manipulate your emotions, you stop being their puppet. You stop dancing to their tune, and that's when the narcissist starts to realize that they no longer have the power to control you through their emotional tactics. The power shift is unsettling for them, and when they see they can no longer dominate you with their emotional manipulation, they'll come running, desperate to regain that control they once had over you. Another crucial shift that can help you break free from the narcissist's hold is learning how to stop over-explaining yourself. Narcissists thrive on keeping you in a state of constant defense. They will question your decisions, criticize your every move, and make you feel like you need to constantly justify your actions. This is a tactic they use to create confusion and self-doubt in you. They want you to be in a position where you feel like you owe them an explanation for everything, even when it's none of their business. But when you stop over-explaining yourself, when you simply stand firm in your decisions without feeling the need to justify them to anyone, you stop feeding into their need for control. You no longer seek their approval, nor do you try to validate your actions with their approval. This shift is incredibly powerful because it strips the narcissist of their ability to manipulate you into doubting yourself. Narcissists thrive on making others second-guess themselves, on creating a cloud of uncertainty around their decisions. They want you to be unsure, constantly questioning your own thoughts and feelings. But when you stop explaining yourself, stop apologizing for your choices, and simply act from a place of inner confidence and self-assurance, you take away that power. The narcissist, who is used to getting you to bend and explain your every move, will feel disoriented. They won't know how to handle it, and this will make them feel powerless. The moment they realize they can no longer control you with this tactic, they will start to feel the loss of power, and that's when they'll come running, trying to regain the control they once had. It's important to remember that this shift is not about trying to manipulate the narcissist or getting them to come back into your life on your terms. This isn't about trying to win them over or draw them back into your orbit. This shift is all about reclaiming your own personal power. It's about taking a firm stand in who you are and refusing to let the narcissist dictate the terms of the relationship anymore. The focus should be on your own growth, well-being, and self-respect. By letting go of the need to control the relationship or fix the narcissist, and instead focusing on your own emotional independence and strength, you create a boundary that the narcissist cannot cross. You reclaim your energy, your peace of mind, and your sense of self-worth. This shift, though it may feel challenging at first, is an empowering step towards emotional freedom. When you shift from a place of fear, insecurity, or neediness, and move to a place of emotional independence, the narcissist will notice. They won't quite understand what's happening, but they will sense the change. They will feel the loss of control, and that feeling of losing their hold over you will drive them to come running back, desperate to reclaim the emotional supply they once had access to. They may try to pull you back into the same manipulative dynamics, but by this time, you will be stronger, more centered, and less willing to fall for their games. You'll be more focused on protecting your emotional well-being, and you'll recognize their manipulations for what they are. This shift allows you to stop being emotionally dependent on the narcissist, and instead start building a healthier, more empowered version of yourself. The more you hold on to your boundaries and emotional independence, the less power the narcissist will have over you. And that, ultimately, is when they'll realize they can no longer control you the way they once did. Thank you for sticking with me until the end of this video. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist and have felt powerless, I hope this shift can offer you the insight and strength you need to take back control. Remember, you are not at the mercy of their manipulation. You have the power to create the change you need in your life. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it with anyone who might need this information, and subscribe to the channel for more content on narcissistic relationships and how to protect yourself. Keep the conversation going in the comments below. Have you experienced this shift? And how did it change the dynamics with the narcissist in your life? Thank you for watching, and take care. When you stop doing things for the narcissist. Have you ever wondered what happens when you stop being the one who holds everything together for someone who never appreciated it? Let me tell you, when you pull back from a narcissist, their entire world doesn't just wobble. It starts to crumble. For so long, they've leaned on your energy, your time, and your relentless patience to prop up their illusion of control and capability. But when you finally step away, they're left facing a truth they've desperately avoided. They're not as independent or invincible as they pretend to be. While this realization shakes them to their core, it marks a powerful turning point for you. A moment of reclaiming your energy, your power, and your peace. Ready to dive into what this transformation looks like? Let's break it all down. One of the most profound changes you'll notice during this journey is the resurgence of your energy. Living with or being in a close relationship with a narcissist often feels like being caught in the gravitational pull of an emotional black hole. These individuals have an uncanny ability to absorb the light, vitality, and energy of those around them, feeding off others to meet their endless emotional and psychological needs. Over time, this draining dynamic leaves you feeling perpetually exhausted, physically, emotionally, and even spiritually. It's no wonder that so many people in relationships with narcissists describe a persistent sense of heaviness, as if they are carrying an invisible burden every day. However, when you begin to step away from this cycle and start pouring your energy into meeting their relentless demands, the difference is almost immediate. It's as though an immense weight is lifted from your shoulders, allowing you to finally take a deep, unencumbered breath. The sense of relief is palpable, and you begin to feel lighter, freer, and more alive. This reclamation of energy isn't merely a temporary boost or a pleasant side effect. It's a catalyst for profound transformation. With the emotional space and mental clarity you regain, you find yourself in a position to rebuild the parts of your life that may have been neglected or sacrificed. Relationships with narcissists often force you to sideline your own needs, interests, and aspirations in favor of their insatiable demands. But now, with this reclaimed energy, you can begin to rediscover those parts of yourself that were pushed aside. You might feel drawn to reconnect with hobbies or creative pursuits that once brought you joy, but were abandoned because you lacked the time or energy. Perhaps you'll feel the urge to strengthen bonds with friends and family, rebuilding connections that may have been strained or overlooked during the time you spent focused on the narcissist. Or maybe you'll find the courage and motivation to pursue a passion project or a dream that has been on hold for far too long. This process of rediscovery is deeply empowering. It marks the beginning of a new chapter in your life, one where you are no longer relegated to being a supporting character in someone else's narrative, but are instead the main protagonist of your own story. As liberating as this transformation is, it's important to acknowledge that the path forward is not without challenges. Narcissists are notoriously resistant to losing control over the people they manipulate. When you start reclaiming your time, energy, and autonomy, their reaction is often swift and intense. They may respond with anger, confusion, or desperation, deploying every tactic in their arsenal to regain the upper hand. They might lash out, accusing you of being selfish, ungrateful, or disloyal. They could try to guilt-trip you, reminding you of all the things they've supposedly done for you and framing themselves as the victim of your newfound independence. These responses are not random. They are calculated attempts to pull you back into the dynamic where they hold power over you. One of the most insidious tactics narcissists employ in these situations is their use of selective generosity. They are experts at crafting moments of apparent kindness or thoughtfulness, but these gestures are rarely genuine. Instead, they are transactional in nature, designed to create a sense of obligation. A narcissist might recall a time when they helped you through a difficult situation, gave you a gift, or performed a favor, not out of selflessness, but with the expectation that you would repay them by remaining compliant and devoted. When you begin to break away, they will often weaponize these moments, holding them up as proof of their supposed generosity, and using them to guilt you into resuming your old role. It's crucial to recognize these gestures for what they truly are, manipulative tools designed to keep you tethered to their needs. True generosity is selfless and given without strings attached. A narcissist's version, by contrast, always comes with hidden motives and expectations. Navigating these manipulative tactics can be incredibly challenging, especially when the narcissist's behavior triggers feelings of guilt, doubt, or confusion. In these moments, it's essential to remain grounded in your decision to step away from the cycle. Remind yourself of why you made this choice in the first place. Perhaps it was because you recognized that the relationship was entirely one-sided, with your needs consistently ignored or dismissed. Maybe it was the growing realization that you were sacrificing your well-being to sustain a dynamic that only benefited the narcissist. Or perhaps you reached a breaking point where the constant emotional exhaustion became too much to bear. Whatever your reasons, hold on to them firmly. They are your anchor, providing stability and clarity amidst the storm of manipulation and guilt-tripping that the narcissist is likely to unleash. As you continue to navigate this process, remember that it's not just about saying no to the narcissist. It's about saying yes to yourself. Each step you take toward reclaiming your energy and autonomy is an act of self-respect and self-love. While the narcissist may attempt to distort the narrative, casting themselves as the victim or painting you as the antagonist, the truth is that you are choosing to prioritize your well-being, something that is both necessary and long overdue. This journey requires strength, resilience, and a commitment to honoring your own needs, but the rewards are immeasurable. With every boundary you set and every step you take toward independence, you are reclaiming your life, your energy, and your sense of self. This is not just a transition. It is a transformation, a powerful, life-affirming shift that allows you to step fully into your own light and begin living a life that is truly your own. A common and often perplexing reaction you'll encounter when dealing with a narcissist is their tendency to shift into the role of the victim. This strategy is a hallmark of their manipulative repertoire and is often executed with remarkable skill. They may go to great lengths to exaggerate their struggles, portraying themselves as helpless, overwhelmed, or deeply misunderstood. They might recount stories of hardship with dramatic flair, framing themselves as unjustly treated or unfairly criticized. This act is designed to tug at your heartstrings, especially if you are someone naturally inclined toward compassion and care. In some cases, they will even enlist the help of others, manipulating them into becoming unwitting participants in their narrative. This tactic, known as triangulation, involves drawing others into the situation to pressure you into resuming your old role. Whether these individuals are friends, family members, or mutual acquaintances, the narcissist will present a version of events that casts you as unkind or uncooperative, creating a sense of social obligation for you to return to their service. This is particularly challenging for those who value empathy and connection, as it exploits your very nature in order to reassert control. This is where understanding the true nature of your empathy becomes crucial. Your ability